you know. And then there are other situations, you know, we are now in a multicultural society, and I actually personally believe in the value of marrying within the culture, because families will understand each other, there won't be a language barrier. There are lots of advantages to marrying within the culture, and there's hikmah in that. But there's also hikmah in being realistic. If your daughter is 27, 28, 30 years old, and your own culture, all the men that come for a proposal, you know that they have a drinking problem, they have a marijuana problem, they have this problem, and you know that. And then a good proposal comes, but it's not from your country, astaghfirullah, it's from the neighbor country, you know? Because the neighbor, we can't accept those because the British drew a line between our border and theirs, and that's from then on, that's haram to consider. You know, Moroccans can't consider Algerians. You know, Egyptians can't consider Syrians. Pakistanis can't consider Bangladeshis, you know. So Malay can't consider Chinese. That can't happen. No. Haram. We have to marry within. Well, you put them in a world where all the cultures are mixed. They're living in a world where haram is so easy. And then a good opportunity of halal comes and you won't even consider it. And the biggest inconsideration here, I told you there's tribal and there's individual. The woman in Islam has the right to suggest who she wants to marry. She actually has that. There's nothing undignified about that. In fact, it's even a story in the Quran. The daughter of the Sheikh in Madian suggested Musa alayhi salam when she said, Ya abat ista'jirhu. Dad, hire him. He's a good guy. Hire him. Hire him where? Hire him in the house with 2 unmarried girls. She knew that say hire him meant, Dad, hook a sister up. It's a good proposal. But she said it in a respectful way. A girl proposed to a man in the Quran. And on top of that, the man couldn't yet earn enough of a living, so his in-laws, the girl's family said, hey, we'll take care of you until you're on your feet. Live here 8 to 10 years. Work for me for 8 to 10 years. That'll be the mahar you have to pay. So the mahar was service. The mahar was take care of the family. The mahar was protect the family. That was the mahar. Incredible. Meaning the Quran showed an unusual situation that doesn't fit the norm, the culture. Musa alayhi salam is from Bani Israel. This family is Madian, in Madian is Arab. This was an intercultural marriage. They had different languages. And yet this marriage happens. And it's an unusual kind of mahar. It's an unusual kind of financial situation. Quran breaks these social standards when they start turning into oppression. When they start turning into oppression. And this is something that we have to now, to fix, to really genuinely fix. Our daughters deserve the chance to live a halal life. And it's embarrassing when they have to ask their parents, I'd like to get married. No. Or, sisters writing emails and sending messages like, I've been engaged for 3 years and my father says it's okay, you can be engaged 5 more years. And she's like, I'm falling into fitna. I don't want to fall into something haram. Please allow me to, how can I convince my father? Allah's book is not enough to convince your father. I don't know what to do. I don't understand. Why would you put your child through this? Do you not know what exists at the moment you open your mobile device? Do you not know what exists in the world now? How easy the door to wrongdoing is? How tempting it is? How constant it is? And they're having to beg their own parents to live a halal life? They're having to beg for that? What greater oppression? I don't understand. So if my own daughter came to me, I'm telling you this, if my own daughter came to me and said, I am considering this person for marriage, I'd say, let me talk to him. I'd like to see. And I'll give her, because she's an adult, you know what I would do? I would talk to him. I would do a good full background check and analysis. I'd do my investigation. I'd do my FBI business. I'd do it. And then at the end of that, I'll sit her down and say, here's what I like. Here's what I'm worried about. But the decision is yours. This is your life. In my opinion, if you make this decision, these might be the troubles you might have. These might be the things that'll be easy for you. But at the end of the day, you are an adult. This is your life. You have to live this life. You have to choose this life. And I can give you advice. How much of this decision is emotional? How much of this decision is well thought out? Let me ask you some questions so you can investigate in yourself. But in the end, you're going to have to make an adult choice. If we don't treat our kids like adults, which they are when they're ready for marriage, if we're not going to treat them that way, then how are we going to expect them to raise the next generation? How are we going to do that? We have to raise that, and this is not some new standard that's already existed in our deen. We've just forgotten it because we either become hyper tribal, or on the kids' side, they become hyper individual. They say, forget it, I don't care about my parents, I'm gonna do whatever I want. And the teachings of our deen and the conditions, all of it is gone. And I'm just gonna live a free life, right? And this is the fitna that we find ourselves in. Just imagine, this is not just a conflict inside one family. This might decide literally the population of Muslims in the next 50 years, right? These things might decide that. What Islam is going to look like. Who's going to be filling the masajid? What kind of parents? What kind of marriages are happening when they're fighting against the family to have marriages? Break these social, I don't tell you to abandon your culture. I don't tell you to force marrying outside your culture. And again, even the men and women, they shouldn't weaponize Islam and use this khutbah and say, hey, see mom and dad, that's why I want to marry him. No, but he's on drugs. What do you mean? That's not what Nouman was saying. Yeah, but this part says you're wrong. Right? So no, there's a problem. We can't, I don't bless it. I don't agree with it. This is a problem. He's got a criminal record. He's got this problem. He's got this problem. There's serious concerns here. So I'm not in agreement. A father has a right to say that too. He has a right to say these are realistic problems with which I have to say that this is not a good decision. I'm not endorsing it, But those are, again, at the end, conversations you have to have with your children as adults, as responsible individuals. They are responsible to Allah. They are responsible on Judgment Day. We're not going to be able to carry their burden. However, I fear, and you should fear, that if I stop my children from the doorway to halal, I stop them, and then they fall into fitna, then they will answer to Allah for their wrongdoing, but I will also answer to Allah for stopping what was right. I will be answerable to Allah. I may think I have full 100% authority over my child, my daughter. I don't have authority over Allah and His book. I don't get to make haram what Allah has made halal. At least I should give it a serious, honest consideration. May Allah Azza wa Jal soften the hearts of parents towards their daughters and daughters towards their parents. May Allah Azza wa Jal allow our daughters to find good spouses and strengthen our families so we're able to raise a much stronger, much more mature, much more just generation of Muslims that can bring the light of this Quran and the teachings of this Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam